Hey now, Brawlers, it's time for another Board Game Brawl review with Nick Minahan, sponsored by BoardGameBliss.com.
Hey people, today we're going to take a look at Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space from Osprey Games. This is actually the Ultimate Edition, and this was an older game. I'm not sure how old exactly, but at least a few years, and from what I haven't played the original edition, from what I understand, the original didn't look that good, to put it mildly. This was designed, this new edition was designed to be a little more appealing, a little more user-friendly, clean up the rules a bit, things like that. And essentially, it's a team game. So some of the players in the game are going to be humans, and some of the players in the game are going to be aliens. It's hidden, of course. You don't know that who's who at the beginning of the game. And you're all in a space station, and the humans are trying to get to the escape pods. The aliens are trying to track them down. And this is all done via hidden movement. Everyone's got a dry erase board or pad with, you flip to a different scenario board or page, and then you keep track of your movement as you move around the board, drawing different types of cards, so on and so forth. Let me go ahead and give you a brief look at how the game is played. Then we're going to come back. I'll let you know what I think.
Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space is a competitive game for up to 8 players. Everyone is a character on a space station that has become infested with aliens. Some of those aliens have infected the crew, and so it's actually a sort of team game. The human players win individually by getting to the escape pods and successfully leaving the station. The alien players win together if they manage to kill the last humans left on the station, or by making the game last a full 40 rounds with at least one human still trapped on the station. Each player gets a map book and a marker. This is a hidden movement game, so there are no character pieces or map tiles. Rather, each player will make sure there are flips to the same map in the book, and you will keep track of all of your movements by writing the XY sector code in the applicable round box. Each map is very different. Some maps are wide open with lots of paths for the humans to escape through, while others are very restrictive. The one thing they all have in common are 4 escape pod areas. You'll shuffle up the dangerous sector cards and leave them near the players. There's also a deck of 5 escape pod cards that you'll shuffle and leave alone for now. The most important aspect is, of course, figuring out who is what. There must be as even a possible number of humans and alien players in the game, with odd-numbered players being aliens. On the front side of the identity card is either a blue shaded character signifying a human or a red alien. Grab the appropriate number of each card, then shuffle those together and deal them out. You can look at your own identity, but you can't show anyone else. You can, however, say out loud whatever you want to in this game. Lying and alliances are encouraged. Note that every character, human or alien, also has a unique special ability. You'll have to refer to the cheat sheet on your own book or the rule book during the game to remind yourself what that power is. These abilities could affect movement, attacks, etc. Most of the alien powers allow them to use specific items, which they normally couldn't. Randomly determine a start player, and from then on the game just continues going clockwise until game end conditions are met. Barring any special ability, you must move every round. Humans can move 1 sector, aliens can move 1 or 2 sectors. As you move, you don't declare out loud the sector you're in. Just secretly make a note of that. Instead, you must say or do something specific depending on which sector you land on, usually by drawing a card which will get discarded face down after being resolved. First off, every map has a human and alien sector. This is where you start from, depending on your faction, but after the first round you can never willingly set foot on it again. If you land on a white sector during the game, you must say silent sector out loud. Nothing else happens and you end your turn. If you land on a gray, dangerous sector space, you must draw a dangerous sector card and follow its instructions. There are 4 possibilities. The red arrow cards are noise cards. If you draw one, you must announce exactly which sector you moved into to the group. The green multi-arrow cards are noise in any sector cards. You fake your position by announcing anywhere on the map as your location. Some cards are just star fields and nothing happens. You must announce silence in all sectors and keep the card face down in front of you. And finally, the last type of cards in the deck are items. When you draw an item card, don't announce what it actually is. Just say silent in all sectors, and place it with those cards in front of you to use later. Items can be saved or used right away in some cases. Only humans can use them without the aid of special abilities, and when you decide to use one, it's announced loudly and then discarded. These items could assist with movements, attacks, and getting you out of a pinch. The last type of space on the boards are the 4 escape pod sectors, which are numbered. If a human manages to make it to an escape pod, they draw a random escape pod card. 4 of the 5 cards are green, and if you grab one of those, you're free and clear and you will win the game. One of the cards, however, is red, and that malfunctions. You'll have to find another pod to escape from. Pods are one-time use, and it's possible to automatically lose because there are no other pods to escape from. After movement, the alien players may choose to attack the sector that they're moving into. Ignore dangerous sector cards and announce you're attacking that sector. If a character is there, they must announce it and they are automatically killed, whether they're a human or an alien. Aliens are just eliminated from the game. However, humans will respawn on the alien sector as a newly formed alien on that team. Also, an alien that kills at least one human will gain the ability to move up to 3 sectors on their turn, not just 2. Play continues until 1 or more players meet their win condition. Now, on to my final thoughts.
Okay, I'm going to say that I like Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space in spite of itself. Why do I say that? Because I do feel that despite this being the Ultimate Edition, this game is trying its best to not make me like it. Because despite being the Ultimate Edition, it's ugly as sin. I mean, the art on the box looks fine, and I kind of like the spare art on the cards to a degree, but for the most part, it's just very ugly, very plain. The pads that we write on to use the to keep track of your movement looks horrible. It looks like a prototype. I've seen prototypes I get for paid previews that look better than this game. Okay? That's just the way it is. Okay? It's an ugly, ugly game. And I really wouldn't want to see the original version. That's how much I'm really shocked by it. The card quality is not even very good. Okay? So the game doesn't look good. Also, it's very easy to learn. It's very easy to jump into. There's no big whoop about it. And I like hit and roll games a lot. So that's why I think I'm giving this game a pass on a lot of these bad things. But it's not terribly exciting the way I would want it to be. And in fact, I've heard and read posts online of other people who have played this or the original edition who are saying things like, oh, it's a really spooky game and, get the soundtrack going and really get into the theme of it. We tried that. I legitimately, the first time that I played this, I put on spooky music. We tried to get into that. But the game doesn't lend itself to that. At least that was our experience. It felt like just cold, methodical. There wasn't bursts of excitement. As the aliens would close in on someone and people started finding out whose allegiance was what. Yeah, that's exciting. That adds some tension to the game. But it's fleeting. It really is. It's fleeting and it's few and far between. And especially one major issue with the actual gameplay is that it is possible for one of the humans to just get out. Just be on the other side of the map in no danger whatsoever. It's not that likely, but it happened in our very first game. With me, actually. I was a human, and I got the right cards. I kept drawing a bunch of equipment, a lot of nothing happening in the danger zones that would indicate where I was. And then the one time I did draw one of those cards, it was the one that I could indicate a noise wherever I wanted on the map. And I completely threw people off my trail. The aliens who had all identified themselves by that point, which is another issue. Once you know who all the alien players are, because at a certain point, they might as well reveal themselves, which I'm not even sure you're technically supposed to do. It's just it's a little bit vague in the rules. But once everyone, as the players out of the game, are sort of conferring, then it kind of loses a lot of its tension. Maybe you're not supposed to do that. I'm not sure. But anyways, back to my main point. At a certain point, they were so confused and had no idea where I was. And then when I threw them off, they just accepted it. Like, oh yeah, he must be in that corner. And then I just had free reign. And the first pot I tried was the winner. Like, it wasn't the winner, but it worked, and I was able to get out. If it hadn't worked, I probably still would have escaped, because I could have just gone wherever I wanted. They were so far away from me. I had so many other items I'd accrued since then. Now, in the other game that we played, that didn't happen quite like that. It was a little more tense and tight. But nevertheless, I felt like the tension in the game is just very fleeting, like I said, and it's not the most... It is thematic. It's just not very exciting, which sounds weird. But, again, I did enjoy it to a degree, surprisingly. And I think it is because there is that bit of theme there, and because of the hidden roles that I'm giving it more of a pass. And I like the system of drawing the cards, and if you're in the danger zones, you have to draw the cards, and you might have to give away your location, or you might get a really cool item, which is a bit more rare, or, there's a lot of different things like that, and all of the aliens have different abilities, and all the humans have different abilities. Really enjoy those aspects of it, although you might not use your ability. That happens sometimes, depending on how the game goes. Now, other people that I played with had a very different opinion than me, which is to say, nothing that was wrong with this game was okay with them, and they ended up hating it, or really not wanting to play it again, at least. Which I can understand. And I think this is a game that's probably... It's outdated. Outdated is the word. But it doesn't mean there's not good ideas here. But it needs something. It needs more to it. It needs to be jazzed up a bit. The appearance of it needs to be better because it matters. Okay, it's a board game. So you can say the play is the thing as much as you want, like Victory Point Games does. But it needs to look good. So that's the first part. And then you just need to have the game moving along at a better clip. Maybe keep the game shorter. I mean, there are maps that are smaller. I understand that. So the game could really, really escalate. But that feels like a sort of ham-fisted way to do it. I just think there needs to be a bit more tension, a bit more who knows what's going to happen and what's going to jump out around the corner, because that's what the theme of the game is supposed to be, but it doesn't translate into the gameplay itself very well. But the idea is sound. For an Ultimate Edition, I was like, what was the first edition like? That must have been mystifying how it even became a game. But Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space, lots and lots of credit for having a good idea, and the kernel of a good game is there. I enjoyed my time with it, but that might have been at the expense of the other people I was playing with.
Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And make sure to check out our sponsor, Board Game Bliss, where you can find an amazing selection of games from around the world. BoardGameBliss.com. Thanks for your support.